Salutations to Valmiki, salutations to Hanumanji, salutation to the Grantha, and now the very Kathanayaka, the very hero of the whole literature, Sri Rama, the central character, the personality, the Godhead, the very avatar of the divine is being remembered, invoked. Apatam dataram sarvasampadam lokabhiramam Sriramam bhuyo bhuyo namamyaham apatam apahartaram dataram sarvasampadam lokabhiramam Sriramam bhuyo bhuyo namamyaham. Again and again I salute. Bhuyaha bhuyaha aham namami. When we salute something again and again, it must be giving more and more to us. Then only we salute more and more. If it is giving the same thing, why should I salute again and again? We salute only people who have either higher knowledge than us, or by age they are greater than or higher than us, or somebody who has more wealth. When someone is beneficial to us, some benefit we need to receive, then we salute that person. But when you salute Bhagavan, you are saluting out of gratitude. Not what you want to get, but what you have already got. And what He has already given to us is immeasurable. Only when we lose, we realize it. Whether it is health, whether it is people, or whether it is a good situation which we come to enjoy, the people around us, or environment, the country you live, the freedom that you are given, the health of the body, the wealth of your house, or the mental peace or joy that you receive from others, attention, respect, all these things are coming to us unasked. That is why in Sanskrit language, what you get without you even know the source of it is called adrushtam. In English you write lucky. Lucky, I do not think it really conveys that meaning. Adrushtam means unseen. Unseen means what? I don't know the source. As Gurudev would say, nothing will happen out of nothing only. If something happens, there must be a reason, there must be a cause. So, causeless, there cannot be anything else. Anything, only emptiness will be there. But if you are receiving some things, there must be some cause, some reason, something which is unknown. And it can be both. Unknown can be the source of our misery also. Unknown can be the source of our joy also. Both are adrishtam. One is called duradrishtam. One is duradrishtam, means that is also unseen, but it is better not to see it. Another is unseen, but it is something which gives us great joy. We receive respect and love and compassion, consideration, love, and all those things we receive from people without even being known. What is the reason? So that is why it said, Bhagavan only knows. Krishna also says in Gita, that many lives you have passed, Arjuna, many lives I have also passed. Bahuni me viditani janmani tavacha Arjuna. Bahuni me viditani janmani. Many lives you have passed, Arjuna. Bahuni me viditani janmani tavacha Arjuna. I think the same tune comes to Gita also nowadays. Tanyaham veda sarvani. I know all of them. Natvam veta parantapa. You don't know. So I know, therefore it is not duradrishtam or adrishtam for me. But for you it is, because you don't know. So whether we know it or not, whether it is negative or positive, we must salute the Lord with great gratitude. For one, He has given to us, even without we knowing it, good or bad. Apatam apahartaram. Apat means accidental. Accidental means What is accident? By definition, two or more things want to be in the same place at the same time. That's called accident. But there is nothing called accident from the Lord's standpoint. Everything is an incident only. When we don't know why, it is accident. So, Bhagavan knows why it is that what we are going through. Therefore, only to Him we can ask, please, make sure that either you can avoid it to happen, it is good, or make me ready to face it. Apatam apahartaram. Because, as you know, such things can come from various sources, broadly divided as three: Adidaivikam, Adibhaudikam, Adhyatmikam. Adidevikam, which is divine cause. Adibhaudikam, because of the people around or things around us. Adhyatmikam, from my own hand. What I can control is only my hand. Only thing that I can control here, and that also very difficult. That's why Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Gurudev used to say Om Shanti. You should say very loud because it has to go to the divine deities. Then other Shanti should be for others to listen. But the last Shanti should be Shanti. To your own mind you are saying. So when we do the Shanti mantra, it is for invoking the grace from every possible source which can either give us negative or positive experiences. May everything be peaceful. Sarva sampadam dhataram. Sampat, like apat is negative, sampat is positive. Apatyade means you obtain. Samyak apatyade idi sampat. Samantat, from every place it comes without even knowing. That's called apat. So, sarva sampadam, and the greatest sampat means sadhana sampat. Where we are able to have the bhakti sadhana, that is the greatest sampat the Lord can give you. Any other thing will not remain for this or for a long time. And in this particular sampat called bhakti, you cannot get it from anybody else. It is Bhagavan is the only source for that. Sarva sadhana samadhyam bhakti deva gariyasi. Even among all the sadhanas, it is the devotion that is the most prominent because it requires directly the grace of the Lord. Apatam apahartaram. Apahartaram. Apahartaram means one who removes. Kuru harati. Apaharanam is to take away. Sita aparanam, as you know, that he takes away. So, Gurudev used to say, Krishna, root to Krishna. It's called Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. So, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Oh Lord, take away, take away. What do you want me to do? What to take away? Apatam apahartaram dataram sarva sampadam. Loka abhinamam, delight of the entire world. He is the delight of the entire world in the sense that everybody delights only in Him. So because the Lord is the one who is residing in the heart of everyone, and therefore everybody delights in His presence only. So when you are sleeping, not now, there's another class also. So when you are sleeping, what do you call that? Aram, isn't it? Where are you? Ram mein raya hoke. Aram. Because in that quietude of the mind, in the deep chambers of your own being, what remains there as pure bliss is Ram. That Rama is, that very word comes from Ramate, Yogino Yasmin, Nityanande Chidatmani. Idi Rama Pade Naso Paramatma Vidiyate. Paramatma alone is there, which is referred here as Rama, because Ramante Yogino Yasmin. Yasmin Yoginaha Ramante. In whom the yogis enjoy and revel. Nityanande Chidatmani. In that Nitya Ananda, which is in the form of pure blissful consciousness. Idi Ramapadena asau Paramatma Vidiyate. This is Rama, none other than Rama himself. That is the reason why in Gita also Sukhamatyantikam yattad buddhi grahyam atindriyam veti yatra na chaivayum siddhas chalati tattvadaha. Where a yogi has found this bliss in his own heart, he will not move from there. Why? It is beginningless, endless. What we enjoy in the sleep is because our mind is quiet, our faculties are quiet and emotions are not there, disturbances are not there, everything is in the deep sleep condition where we are at the lap of the Lord only. We are lying at the lap of the Lord but not knowing. It's called Sushupti, unknown condition. Supta Swabhava, meaning Supta means completely gone into the Magna. It means Nidra Magnam, sunk in that state of sleep. A yogi goes to the same situation but fully aware of where he is. That's the difference, Samadhi and Sushupti. So if we go to sleep, we have Aram, Vishram. When the yogis go to say, they are fully aware of the Ramananda, Supreme Ananda, which is beginningless and endless. So, Lokaviramam Sri Ramam Bhuyo Bhuyo Namamyam. Again and again I salute. Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedase Raghunataya Nathaya Sitaya Pataye Namaha. Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedase Raghunataya Nathaya Sitaya Pataye Namaha. Sitaya Pataye Namaha. Sitayaha Pade. The Lord and consort of Sita. Sita is known as Sita because she comes in the furrows of the earth. She represents the earthly element, and that's why Bhagavan wears the cloth, yellow cloth, Pitambaradhari. Pitambara represents the earth. And what is his color? Megha-shyama, sky. So he envelops both. I am as much as the earth, as much as the sky. I mean, everything is included in me. En maya vashavarti vishwamakilam brahmadi devasura yet sattvadamrushaiva bhadi sakalam rajjohitahir brahmaha yet pada plavamekameva vivaham bodherti dishavadam vandeham tamashesha karana param ramakyamisham harim. Tulsidasi says in the beginning itself, because of whose maya, yen maya vasha, because of whose power of maya, Vashavarti Vishwamachilam, the entire world is under the spell of maya of the Lord. Brahmadi Devasuraha, from Brahma onwards, all the Devatas, all the Asura, everybody. Everybody is under the spell of his power only. Yet Sattva, due to whose positive reality, Amrsha Eva Bhadi Sakalam, all of them appear to be real. In fact, they are not. They are relative, they are temporary. Yet, this world appears Jagati Satya Buddhi. Is it not? That's the cause of our major problem. Jagati Satya Buddhi, Dehe Atma Buddhi. The reason why we all are Jivatma is because we have the belief that Jagat is Satyam, Deha is Atma. So the world is appearing to be real even though it is Mrsha, unreal. But Amrsha eva bhadi, yet Sattvat. Due to whose positive existence alone, the world, even though unreal, appears to be real. Rajau yada he Brahma. Of course, Vedanta comes in there. Rajau, in this robe, yada ahe Brahma. Just like the snake appears to be so real until you know this rope, otherwise you have no hope. So rope is not known, snake seems to be real. Bhagavan is not known, world appears to be real. That's why he says, Matta parataramna anyat kinchit asti dhananjaya. And other than me there is nothing here, but you see it. Yat sattva damrushaiva bhadi sakalam rajjau yada her brahma, yada ahe brahma. Therefore, what one should do is yat pada plavam. Yat, whose pada plavam, plavam means boat. Whose feet alone is the boat for us. Ekameva, that alone is. Who for whom? For those people. Bhavam, Bodhe, Titirsha, Avadam. Those who want Titirsha means Tirthamicha, Titirsha. Those who want to cross what? Bhavam, Bodhe, Titirsha, Avadam. Those who would like to cross over this mighty ocean called samsara. Only one boat is available. That is Bhagavan's feet. Vandeham, therefore I salute him, tam ashesha karana param. He himself is the cause of everything. For him there is no cause. Ashesha karana param. Ramakyamisham harim. I salute that Rama who alone is the sole cause for everything. Because of whose power of Maya alone the whole world is there, and whose positive presence alone makes this unreal world appear to be real, just like this rope is appearing to be a snake, and there is only one boat that is available to all of us, that is to be at the feet of the Lord, who alone can make us cross the ocean. So that Rama, that's why he says, Ramaya Rama Bhadraya, Bhadraya, Sreshtaya, Mangalaya, most auspicious that Rama, Ramachandraya Vedase, even though he is a Surya Vamshi. But he is referred as Chandra. Surya Vamshi, because it is the Surya is considered to be, the Aditya is considered to be the first one, first king of the world. Meaning first one, as soon as creation began with Aditya. Aditya Manave Pra Vivaswan, he's called Vivaswan. Vivaswan, Manu, the first human king is called Manu. That's why Krishna says in 4th chapter, Vivaswan Manave Praha Manuhu Ikshvagave Abravid. Ikshvaku is Manu's descendant. Then it is later on Dilipa and then Raghu, then Aja, then comes slowly then the Dasharatha and Dasharatha's son Ram. They are all in the Surya Vamsha. But even though in the Surya Vamsha, Surya is not something which you can directly see. It will scorch you to death. But is it not true? The beauty of the moon is nothing but the beauty of the sun only, but reflected so cool for us. The moon, even though it does not have its own light, but it borrows the light from the sun, but makes it so appealing, so delightful, so charming. Therefore, he is referred as Krishna Chandra, Ramachandra, because that delight, the joyful light of the sun, not the heat of the sun. Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedase Vedase. You are known as, he is known as Rama, Ramabhadra, Ramachandra, Raghunataya Nathaya. Raghunatha is the one who is descendant of Raghu, the very well known first Chakravarti of the entire India. He was the one under whom the entire India was under one control, one rulership. Because it is not historically proven, therefore they say Ashoka or Akbar was the Chakravarti there. But he was the first one. Raghunataya Nathaya Sitaya Patage Namaha. To that one who is the Pati of Sita. Mangalam Kosalendraya महनीय गुणाब्धये चक्रवर्ती तनुजाय सार्वभौमाय मंगलम् मंगलं कोसलेन्द्राय महनीय गुणाब्धये चक्रवर्ती तनुजाय सार्वभौमाय मंगलम्. In Sanskrit, Manga means Shuddha, Shubhra, Saubhagya. Mangala means that which causes Shubhatvam, that causes Saubhagyam, that causes all auspiciousness. What is auspiciousness? That which is not suspicious. That's called auspicious. Only one letter change. What is suspicious? You do not know how it will behave. That is called suspicious. He is a very suspicious person. Meaning what? I don't know what he will do. Auspiciousness is that which never changes its nature. That is why in our tradition we have the sandalwood, kumkum, bhasma, tulasi, chandan, what do you call it? Haldi. These are all considered akshata. They are all considered as mangalakarinaha, mangalakatta. It represents mangalatvam because even if you go for days together, it doesn't change its nature. Tulsi, even if it is dry, it is still medicinal. Chandan, you keep it there and you don't use it for years together, you do nothing like that. Unless if it's water, then it will be a problem. By itself, no. Even the uncut rice smeared with haldi, it remains. Nothing happens to it. If you don't put haldi and then keep the rice, you will have all the worms coming. Put the haldi and keep it there, nothing will enter there. That's why they use that haldi and then keep it there. It will remain fresh, it will remain unaffected. So these are all why. So what is auspiciousness? That which does not change its nature. So that mangalam, mangati means that which makes it auspicious. Mangalam kosalendraya. Kosalendraya. Kosala also is referred as Ayodhya. Ayodhya Nagar. Audhi Nagar. So Kosala Indraya, one who is the Lord of Kosala. Mangalam Kosalendra Mahaniya Pujaniya Gunabdhaye Gunabdhi, the very ocean of all virtues. Why ocean of virtues? Because virtues are like the precious stones which are found at the depth of the ocean. Most of the precious stones are found very deep inside the ocean. If it is on the surface, they are not precious anymore. Preciousness because they are rare to find. And they are rare not to find because they are in the deep ocean. Similarly, all our virtues are deep within us. They are all enshrined. We are not able to bring it out. What we have is a superficial personality of anger, greed, jealousy, passion, and all those things. The surface of the personality. Virtues are those which are very deep within us. And when we start expressing the virtues of that nature, compassion, love, forgiveness and all those things, it touches every human being. Why Gandhi is famous? For what? Why any of these Mahatma, Vivekananda, Buddha are such spiritual masters? Why they are, what they have done? They expressed that virtues. They expressed it because it is deep within every one of us. When they express, you get touched. That's Gunabdhi, the ocean of virtues. Bhagavan Sri Rama, he could forgive everyone, even Kaikeyi, who is the cause for all the trouble. When the mothers came to meet him in the forest, first thing he did was went and prostrated to Kaikeyi, not even Kausalya. Because she was feeling very bad. She was feeling very disturbed that I am the cause for all these things. to avoid, to make sure that that feeling of guilt is gone from the heart of not only Kaikeyi, but also in the heart of Bharata. And also teach to the world that everyone is fit to be forgiven. And that is the nature of divinity. So first thing he did was he went and embraced Mother Kaikeyi and said, Mother, how are you? Because, world started blaming her, looked at her as the most terrible woman on the surface of the earth. But then Bhagavan said, no, she should be forgiven. For out of sheer love, infinite love for her own son, she could not help but do it. And the son was feeling bad, therefore he is also forgiven. Mangalam Kosalendraya Mahaniya Pujaniya, most worshipful, Gunabdaye Chakravarti Tanujaya. Dasharatha Chakravarti means yasya chakraha avartade sarvatra. Vartade means it moves, revolves around. And it is said that a Chakravarti is one who must have the maximum land under his control. He is only called Chakravarti. Samrat. So in the past they do this Ashwamedha Yaga where they send out the horse, and wherever the horse goes, that place is mine. Oh, that kind of a thing nowadays is wonderful. Send out the horse, and other house it goes, that's mine. But he had the prowess and power. If anybody opposes, he will go for a war. Okay, you don't accept, yes, and then come for the war. Come to fight with me, I'll prove. So that way he expanded his region, and that region under a Chakravarti is called Sarvabhauma, Sarvabhumi. Chakravarti Tanuja, the son of Chakravarti Dasharatha, and Sarvabhaumaya, one under whom the maximum earth is covered. Or Bhuma also means Bhumaiva Sukam, Brahmanandam is called Bhuma. In Chandrakya Upanishad, Bhumaiva Sukam Nalpe Sukamasti. Bhuma is that supreme joyful self, that alone is real joy. Alpena Sukamasti. In the insignificant thing there is really there is no joy. Sarvabhaumaya Mangalam. Thus, salutation to Sri Rama, the main divine incarnation of the Lord. Thus the Ramayana Dhyanam concluded with these many verses on different worshipful deities. Valmiki, Hanuman, Ramayana, Grantha, as well as Sri Rama. Now, the Ramayana is considered as a kavyam, a literature. Now, before that, let us give the statistical data of what this Ramayana is. How much verses it contains. Chadurvimshat sahasrani shokanam uktavan rishi tata sarka shadan pancha shatkandani tadottaram. Chadurvimshat sahasrani, 1,000. Chaturvimshat, 24. 24,000 verses. Shlokanam uktavan rishihi. Valmiki Rishi uktavan shlokan. Valmiki Rishi had written, originally it was 100 crores. It is said to be that many, even that is not enough to tell the glory of the Lord. But when it comes to human context, 24,000 has been given out. And I'll talk to you about the 24 a little later. It's also a very important number. So, Chadurvimshat Sahasrani Shlokan Am Uktavan Rashihi, and each, these 24,000 are divided into 500 sargas. Tata Sarga Shatan Pancha. Sarga Shatan Pancha. Sarga means chapter or cantos. Sarga Shatan, 100, Pancha, so 500 plus. Then Shatkandani, 6 kandas, 6 broad cantos. No, 6 broad. That's what we call it as cantos. Anyway, that way. Tatottaram, and also one more, 6 plus 1, 7. So 7 kanda, meaning, as you know, Balakanda, Ayodhya Kanda, then Aranya Kanda, Kishkinda, Lanka, Sundara, and then Lanka, and then Uttarakhand. Now it is said in Balakanda there are 77 sargas with 2,256 verses. Just statistics here. Ayodhya Kanda has 119 sargas, 4,415 verses. Aranya Kanda 75 sargas with 2,732 verses. Kishkinda Kanda has 67 sargas with 2,620 verses. Sundarkand has 68 sargas with 3,006 verses. Yuddha Kanda has 131 sargas with 5,990 verses. Uttarakanda has 110 sargas with 3,234 verses. Total 647 sargas with 24,253 verses. So now, what is a kavya? In Indian literature, the literature can be prose or poet. Broadly, first to divide, the scholars have studied all the literature that was available, and they said there are 2 broad categories of literature. One is called Drishya, another is called Shravya. Drishya means that which can be made in form of a play, a drama. Most of the descriptions in the literature is perceivable, seeable. But there are rest of the literature that are available in the Hindu culture. They cannot be demonstrated on a stage. They can only be heard and imagined by those who listen. This is called Shravya Kavya. Kavina Kritam Kavyam. Kavi means a poet, one who has that. Who is a Kavi? Yesterday I told you, Krantadarshi. One who can see beyond what eyes can see. When he sees something, he doesn't see what is there, but also brings in the beauty with similes, with certain various comparisons, with upamas, making it as a delightful experience. You will also find in Valmiki Ramayana many, many places the description of nature, description of the beauty of the place, in such a vivid manner, it is not possible you to show it anywhere. Just like the various thoughts and feelings that are going on in the mind of a person cannot be shown in a movie or in a drama. That's why when you read a book, you can know what the person is thinking. Each character. How will you show it in a movie? Movie only you can see what he does, but what he thinks, only in a Shravya Kavya you can do that. So now, therefore, a Kavya should have the 2 elements, but one is what is demonstrable, seeable, that is Drishya, and what cannot be shown, but only when you read, and it is left to the listener or the reader to imagine it. So, if there are only poetry, it's called Kavya. And if it is prose, that is known as Katha or Akyayika. And if it's a mixture of both, then it's called Chambu. These are all technical terms used. Now, in the Kavya literature, poetic literature, it can be Mahakavya or it's called Khanda Kavya. A Mahakavya is that which is an elaborate detail of a story, of a personality. And if it is merely some little poetry about beauty of nature, beauty of this and that, that can be a smaller, compositions or literature, is called Khanda Kavya. Khanda means small or broken. And the later scholars have understood that a Mahakavya should have certain characteristics. And that is put in the form of a poet, this thing here, verse here. Sargabando Mahakavyam Tatriko Nayakasuraha Sadvamsham Kshatriyo Vapi Dhirodatma Gunanvidaha. A Mahakavya should have various sargas. Sargas, chapters. Because to explain various aspects of the story, you need to go one by one in succession. Sargabando Mahakavyam. Then, Tatra Eko Nayaka Suraha. The main character who is being extolled in a Kavya, Mahakavya, should be of a divine incarnation. Tatra Eko Nayaka Suraha. Suraha means divine. The Nayaka or the main character should be Ekaha, must be only one, and must be a divine manifestation. Or Sadvamsha Kshatriyo Vapi Dhirodatma Gunanvidaha. Or he can be an ordinary human king, but will have exalted qualities. Extremely adorable qualities. Then, yes, such a personality who is the main character, who is the main hero of the entire literature, then that is called a Kavyam, Mahakavyam. This is, later scholars have understood, this is how, see, when Valmiki Rishi wrote or even Kalidas wrote, these were not there, these rules were not there. But these were later on recognized by the scholars, and so this is how it has been followed. Sadvamshaha must belong to a great lineage. Kshatriyaha, mostly it is about Kshatriya, because a ruler alone is known to be one who has that prowess, valor, because there are three rasas that are usually demonstrated in a Kavya. They are known as Sringara, Veera or Shanti. Sringara rasa, Veera rasa or Shanta rasa. But what we find in Ramayana, all the three. Sringara of the Lord, Veeratva of the Lord, and also we find the Shanti Swarupa in the form of a divine virtues that he explains or he expresses, leading to peace. So Sadvamsha Kshatriyo Vapi Dhirodatma Guna Anvidaha. Dhirodatma. Extreme valor, and which is having a positive impact on people. Such a Mahan, such a great Kshatriya, when about him the story is written, it is called Mahakavya. Now, it is also seen, Valmiki himself writes, this Ramayana, even though it is the story of Rama, but no doubt that is incomplete without Sita. Kavyam Ramayanam Krishnam Sitayas Charitam Mad. It is Sitayaha Charitam. It is because of Sita alone it has come to be known to the world. You may be surprised. Valmiki wrote it all right, but he did not tell anybody. Until Lava and Kusha came into being. Because Lava and Kusha were the only two fit students who can sing this glory. He was looking for who is capable of singing this. Who is capable of singing the glory of the Lord? Because those who are capable of singing the glory of God must have the Amsha of the Lord. Without that, it will have no stamp of divinity. And so the destiny would have it that Bhagavan Sri Rama had to leave Sita at the ashrama of Valmiki, where she gave the birth to both of them, that is Lava and Kusha, and they happen to be the best students who can narrate the story of Sri Rama to Rama himself. And Rama was very pleased to listen to his own story. So this story cannot be, definitely not complete without the greatness of Sita. Kavyam Ramayanam Krishnam Sitayas Charitam Mahat Paulastya Vadamityeva Chakara Charitav Vrataha. The prayojanam of this great Mahakavya is well defined even before the story unfolded. Why Bhagavan had descended on? Paulastya Vadam. Pulastya Putra or Pulasti Vamsha Putra, Vamsha, one who belongs to Paulastya Vamsha, the Rishi Pulastya's descendant is Ravana. So Ravana Vadam, that is the main prayojanam of the whole story there. So now why Sitaji is considered to be the important feature of Ramayana? Because even though Sri Rama was of the great forgiver and the great compassionate manifestation, there is a particular composition we find which is known as Sri Gunaratna Kosha. There the glory of Sita is given here in a beautiful Sanskrit verse. Madharmaiti rakshasi tvayitatai vakra paradastvaya rakshantya pavanatmajat lagutara ramasya goti krita Kakam tam cha vibhishanam cha sharanam ityukti kshamau rakshatah sana sandra mahakasa sukayaduk shanti tava kasmiki. Sri Rama is no doubt a great epitome of compassion. Whoever surrender to him, he will give himself to them. Sharanagati, whoever come to the gati, to surrender to the Lord, Sharanagati, Sharanam Agata, Sharanagati. One who surrender to him, for him he will sarvam render. It's called surrender. Guruji used to say surrender. It's called surrender. Where you completely be at the feet of the Lord. Then Lord says, I will take care of it. Whoever come to my protection, I will protect them. So, what the Lord has who has the Lord has forgiven? So many. But here he says, Kakam tam cha vibhishanam cha sharanam. Jayanta, you will see the story later on. Jayanta is the son of Indra. Most atrocious being. He was attracted to Sita. But he dare not would go in front of her in Ramayana. So, but he was so passionate, lusty. So what he did was, he took the form of a crow. And once Bhagavan Sri Rama and Sita ji, they were sitting there in the forest, and Sita was a little feeling sleepy because of the heavy fruit food that she had. So she was feeling sleepy, and then she was lying at the shoulder of the Lord. The Lord was just patting her lying there. At that time, he's croaking. Looked at both of them. Both of them seemed to be in unconscious state. Let us do it. So he went and poked the feet of Sita. He bit it. So she probably did not even notice. She was in fast asleep. But blood started oozing out. Rama looked, blood? Aye. That Kaka was suddenly, he understood who it was. Oh, Indra's son. He took his Ramabana and shot at him. He started flying to all regions of the world and the heavens. And Ravana was chasing. It's a guided missile, what's called that? Patriotic missile. Went behind him. Not, you don't attack. That's the beauty of Ramabana. Unless Bhagavan decides to attack him, it will not attack, but it will go behind him. Went on and on and on and on. He went to Shiva. Bhagavan Shiva opened his, oh, how are you, Jayanta? He looked at it, Ravana was coming. Hey, go, don't stay here, move out. He went to Brahma, no. Everyone he went, they said nothing doing here. Indra himself said, I cannot help you. Finally, who was there? Narayana. Narada was there. So he saw him running. Hey, where are you running? Oh, Ramban is behind you. Where are you going? Trying to get out of this. You cannot. Once Ramabana has, the guided missile has come to you, you cannot go anywhere else. So how do I get out of it? Go back to him only. Take a U-turn and go back. So Jayanta again started running towards Rama. And finally he came and surrendered. Bhagavan made a mistake. Stop. Ravana just got back into his plan. So, anybody who surrendered, any mistake you have done, you surrender, I protect. Kakam tam vibhishanam cha sharanam ityukti kshamau rakshataha. He will surely, kshamau, he surely will forgive you, whoever it be, who are surrendered to him. Example like Kaka, that Jayanta, or Vibhishana, and so many others. Those who did not surrender to him, obviously he would take real punishment will be given to them. But even they are also given heavenly abode only. But he only forgiven when you have understood your mistake, you seek apology, yes. But you, O Sita, says, Matar Maithili, O Maithili, Rakshasi Tvai. These demons, she demons who were there in the Ashokavati, they were extremely wicked ones who are constantly troubling you because as per the instruction of Ravana, make sure that she is continuously tortured until she accepts me as her husband. Day and night. She couldn't sleep a day, a wink. Continuously she was bothered, disturbed, tortured. Tortured not physically but continuously bugging, constantly talking to her about, Ravana is great, Ravana is great. This is like a great brainwashing. Tataivartra parada. Artra aparada. Artra means affliction, aparada means constant trouble. But in spite of they being so wicked and so negative and so disturbing, what did you do? Tvaya rakshantya pavanatmajat. But when Sri Hanuman came there as a Ramaduta, after having handed over that ring and said that I am Ramaduta Hanuman, I have come here to convey the message that Rama is on his way. He is waiting to get an acknowledgement from you. Once it is complete, then begins the journey towards you to rescue you. So don't worry. And even as she was very happily, joyfully receiving Hanuman, she could have easily said, hey, take care of them. Because he was very strong and quite powerful. In fact, he even asked Sita, why not you sit on my shoulder? We'll go right now itself. At this moment we can get out of this place. Because I have come, I have only single load of yours on my head, on my body. It doesn't matter. The favorable wind will be there. We can reach in time. But then Sita said, no. My purpose is not to go back. My purpose is to finish the job. What is the job? Paulasya vada. That fellow has to be finished. If I can go back and the whole story will end, the purpose of Ramavadar will not be complete. And secondly, but she didn't say that directly to him. She said, I have said I will not touch anyone other than Rama. And that is why I am here. In fact, in spite of so many months of torture from Rama, I didn't even look at his face. So therefore, I will not come. But send the message that Rama has to come. She knew how powerful Hanuman was, but yet she did not ask him to kill or destroy these Rakshasas. Pavanatmajat Rakshantya. So you have protected those Rakshasas from being killed by or being punished by Hanuman. So what an amount of compassion. He says, Lagutara Ramasya Goshti Kruta. So therefore Ramasya Goshti, the side of Rama has become Lagutara. Compared to your compassion, Lord's compassion becomes Lagu. It becomes so thinned out, so insignificant. Meaning, he only protected those who came for his forgiveness. But you have forgiven even those who tortured you. So, what we read from this Ramayana is not only the story and glory of the Lord, but the patience, tolerance, compassion, steadfastness, consistency, devotion of Sita. How many days, how many weeks, how many months steadfastly, no, Bhagavan will come, I will be saved, I will be rescued, I will not do anything else. That because she is a Bhuma Devi Putri. No, imagine that. She is none other than the manifestation of Bhuma Devi. What an amount of highways we have been building. How much of disturbance we are putting nuclear weapons below that and trying to blast it. So much of patience. That's why she came out of it, she went back to it only there. So, compared to your patience and your forgiveness, even to the most wicked creatures, Rama's forgiveness is Lagutara. So, Ramasya Goshti Krita. So, why am I chanting this? He says, Sana Santra Mahakasassu Kayadup Shanti Tava Kasmiki. May your patience, may your tolerance help us in such a way that you may please forgive our mistakes here in life. Sa Mahakasaha Shantihi Sukayatu. Tava Kasmiki Kshanti, that nature of you, which is of the nature of patience, may please forgive our mistakes. So that is why Krishnam Ramayanam Proktam Sitaya Charitam Mahat. It is Sitaya Charitam. Now, there are 5 important aspects of any story. Any story you take, it must have a Kathanayaka, meaning a main character who is the main hero of the story. So, if you read any book or you see any movie for that, there is Arama. Arama means the plot of the story, where it begins. Right? That's called first element of a story, a kavya must have an arambha, a beginning. Then, in the first few chapters itself, there should be a clear indication of what is the lakshyam. Lakshya prayatnam, which the hero of the story must be efforting or putting efforts to reach it. There may be many obstacles to it, but he is on his journey towards that. The next time when you watch a movie, look for it. Third one is Ichcha. Ichcha means a desire to obtain that. preparing himself to obtain it, but he must have intense desire to go for it. Fourth one is niyamena labha. In the righteous means, he gets that. And the fifth one is prayojanam. What is the end result of the entire process? The first one is arambha. Second one is where the laksha prayatnam. What is that final goal to be reached? Third one is ichha, the desire to obtain it. Fourth one is niyamena labha. Because see, you may have a particular goal to reach, but you do not have the righteous means to reach it. And it cannot be a kavyam. It will be merely, nowadays in a Hollywood story, all the stories you see, whatever means we want. No, with the rightful means to go. Then only it will become a literature. Because that is teaching you what is the right way to do things. If you write a story where any way or the other you want to go and kill that fellow, then it will be a wrong message you are sending it. Meaning, the goal justifies the means. That is not right. The means should be just as much as the goals must be just. So, niyamena labha and finally prayojanam. What is the final result of the entire process? So, these are the 5 important aspects of a kavyam, and we see that very beautifully unfolded in Valmiki Ramayana. So, tomorrow we will be beginning with the first verse. We waited enough, I think. So, we will start with the Balakanda first tomorrow. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkhavat Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri